Unsolved Mysteries of the Second World War.
Are you guys ready for another action-packed American Eye video? Let's get on to it.
Number 10. Nazi Gold Train. A possible hidden treasure from World War II, the Nazi gold train has brought upon countless searches by Polish prospectors hoping to strike it rich. Although no historical records prove its existence, a man on his deathbed revealed a secret that he had been keeping for quite a while. He claimed that there was a train that was buried in Poland that contained 300 tons of gold, along with other priceless art, coins, jewels, weapons, and other masterpieces. A radar scan of the supposed Nazi gold train location occurred in 2016, but it turned out to be an underground ice formation. A dig took place for 7 days to try to find out what it was, but it was a lost cause. Was this something a guy on his deathbed was making up, or could there really be a massive train full of Nazi gold hidden underground that could potentially make someone a multi-billionaire? It's believed that other Nazi gold stashes worth billions of dollars were discovered by the Americans after World War II. Some also believe that people from the Army might have taken a little bit home for themselves. The Amber Room. A famous room in Russia that was highly decorated with amber and gold was looted by the Germans during World War II. This was one of the greatest treasures of Russia and was even considered the eighth wonder of the world and an artistic masterpiece. They attempted to keep the room hidden from the Germans by disassembling it and was disguised with average-looking wallpaper. But this attempt epically failed and the Nazis seized all the artwork. The collections from the room mysteriously disappeared ever since and haven't been found to this day. The entire room was reportedly loaded onto a German U-boat, but no one has seen it since. Some claim the boat was torpedoed and the plunder from the room is somewhere underwater. Others feel as though it was loaded onto trucks and taken to Konigsberg, where it was kept until evacuation was ordered by Albert Speer, but it is not known if it even made it out of Konigsberg. The whole city and the castle it was stored at was even firebombed heavily by the Red Army and left in ruins. Number 8. Foo Fighters. Despite sharing their name with a popular band, Foo Fighters was a term coined by the Allied pilots as mysterious flying objects that were seen both over European and Pacific skies that didn't belong to either the Allies or the enemy. At no other point in time in history had there been more planes in the skies until the 1940s. This gave soldiers a much better chance to discover UFOs than ever before. So what could they have possibly been? Aliens? These could have been some of the first up-close and personal sightings of alien aircraft with creatures inside who might have wanted to get an up-close look at the military combat for themselves. Astronauts have also had their own encounters with the Foo Fighters. Number 7. Nazi Secret Super Rocket. Could Hitler have been just a year or two away from developing a super weapon that could have crushed the Soviets and the Allies into submission? It certainly seemed possible since the Germans had the best scientists and engineers to work on such a project. Vast amounts of resources were being focused into a weapon of mass destruction in which no defense would prevail. British intelligence had received reports that the Germans were secretly developing a new range of weapons never seen before on the battlefield. It was a massive long-range weapon that was being constructed at a remote peninsula along the Baltic Sea. The weapon was so advanced and complicated that the Americans and the British considered its construction to be impossible. It's unclear exactly what would have been put inside the rockets, but many believe chemical weapons, biological weapons, poison gas, or even a nuclear warhead. Rocket scientists perfected any problems with long-range rocket flight, and gyroscopes were added to make aiming the rockets much easier. The first successful launch reportedly reached a height of 50 miles, higher than any earthly object before. Many also still wonder why Hitler chose to launch so many rockets that only use conventional explosives too. Number 6. British soldiers at Auschwitz. 60 years after the war was over, a list was discovered that contained the names of 17 British soldiers at Auschwitz concentration camp. The list was discovered during an excavation in 2009. The question the researchers wanted to know was clearly, who exactly were the soldiers on the list? It's not clear exactly if they were former POWs, spies, or defectors to the SS. With last names such as Gardner, Lawrence, and Osborne, 8 of the names had check marks next to them. Some people believe that these checks indicate that they were executed with other British soldiers. Others, however, aren't so sure. The list has led many people to believe that the soldiers were members of a British SS division that the Nazis had created during the war. No one was able to totally prove this. The list was secretly hidden away, meaning that no one was supposed to find it either. Number 5. Flight 19. 14 members of the Navy went missing when Flight 19 mysteriously vanished over the Bermuda Triangle. While the Bermuda Triangle legend still persists in modern times, one of the first and most well-known disappearances involved Flight 19 near the east coast of Florida. 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers known as Flight 19 vanished December 5, 1945 during a U.S. Navy overwater navigation training flight. A PBM Mariner flying boat was sent onto a mission to locate them, and the PBM, as well as its crew, also disappeared. This included a total of 14 pilots who went missing along with 13 crew members, making 27 men presumed to be permanently gone. While there are many theories regarding the Bermuda Triangle, the official reasoning was changed to cause unknown, and even right now, Navy investigators haven't been able to come up with a solid reason for Flight 19's disappearance. The original report believed that the group's commander, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, was lost and had caused them to fly around in circles until their gas tank hit empty. A few of the pilots knew what their location was, but decided not to follow through with the orders and fly directly into the Bermuda Triangle and set it back into Florida. Neither the pilots nor the airplanes have ever been discovered, so Flight 19 remains a part of the Bermuda Triangle mystery that remains to this day. Number 4. New Swabia. As other powerful nations did at this time, the Germans had also sent their people to Antarctica to see what all the fuss was about. In 1938, a freighter known as the MS Schwabenland left Hamburg, Germany during a secretive operation, and a temporary base was established with a total of 33 men and some aircraft. The Germans had better luck flying around in the harsh environment and were able to capture many photographs from the skies. It was located around Queen Maud Land, but the Germans never had any rightful claims to the territory. The Arctic expedition lasted a year, but there was still quite a bit of suspicion around the whole thing, and it's likely that they were able to do a little bit of land grabbing for the Reich. Some felt as though they might have been successful in establishing an underground base or some type of colony, which was why the US went in not long after the Second Global Conflict. Some also feel as though some war criminals might have escaped Germany and settled in Antarctica. Number 3. Stalin's secret armies. In order for the Germans to gain control of more oil fields, they had to invade the Caucasus Mountains, but there was only one city that stood in its way: Stalingrad. The Sixth Army was Germany's most well-balanced and experienced group of men who had already been victorious in the city of Rostov-on-Don. It seemed like nothing was standing in their way of gaining complete control of what they wanted. Joseph Stalin had communicated with Winston Churchill about the importance of the Western Front in order to prevent too many troops from coming into his country. A titanic battle took place at Stalingrad when the Wehrmacht were repelled by the Soviet forces after 3 months of intense fighting. The Germans had no clue where all the reinforcements were coming from, and the battle far from home would exhaust their resources. It turns out that Stalin had a fresh secret army hidden up his sleeve that the Allies had no clue about. Did Stalin want to appear weak in order to have the West underestimate him? Why would he go through such lengths to deceive us? Or was he getting ready for the Cold War? Number 2. Descendants from Tibet. When the Nazis began to control most of Europe, an archaeologist came up with a bizarre idea about there possibly being the location of Atlantis here, as well as the original location of their German ancestors. Heinrich Himmler and his followers believed that all the Germans and the members of their culture were actually from Tibet, which led to expeditions to this area. Getting there was certainly no easy task, and the exact information they might have came across to come to this conclusion during this expedition is still quite mysterious. This shadowy project had scientists and archaeologists hunting for proof in this region. They thought that this was the true area where Atlantis existed and a master race once lived. After studying the facial features of the local Tibetan people, they concluded that Tibetans were descendants of the people of Atlantis and were somehow linked to the people of Germany. Although the Nazis, of course, were guilty of having some crazy ideas, this adds more speculation on Shangri-La and its possible existence on being located high up in the mountains. And number 1, a possible escape. As the siege of Berlin began, it was quite obvious that Hitler's hopes and dreams of creating an Aryan nation were clearly over. The Russians would claim that he committed suicide by taking poison in his underground bunker, but how sure can we be he didn't make a daring escape as the Soviets were closing in? They discovered a body double with a similar-looking mustache, but his real remains were never confirmed to be found. A new document released by the FBI would suggest that he might have actually escaped Europe by means of submarine and was actually hiding out in the foothills of the southern Andes. According to the document, Hitler was among the passengers who escaped in the submarine about 2.5 weeks after the fall of Berlin. Witnesses stated that there were 2 women, a doctor, and several other men on board. About $15,000 was what it took to reportedly bribe an Argentinian official to let him stay and hide out for a while. Feel free to check out the FBI vault. Is it possible that after shaving his mustache, no one could recognize him and he was able to live out the rest of his life undetected? Others believe Hitler escaped to Antarctica at an extensive underground military base constructed in New Swabia. This could be the real reason behind Operation High Jump, where the US sent an entire fleet, including aircraft carriers, to the southernmost continent. Where do you think he could be hiding? Let us know in the comments section and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video.
So which one did you think was the most mysterious? Let us know in the comments section. Be sure to check out more of our videos over here. I'll see you there.